back to another episode of 217 South Mills.
Brought to you by Cabin Coffee Altoona, located at 2922 Meadowlark Lane in Altoona.
And Pizza Del Rey, located at 911 North Hastings Way in Eau Claire. Best pizza in Wisconsin, pizza buffet, and frozen pizzas.
Yep.
We love having Pizza Del Rey on board, as well as Cabin Coffee. And we are back this week to talk about the untold story of Michigan, the sign-stealing episode with Connor Stallions. We actually just watched the documentary together. And boy, I don't know. I think we got a lot to talk about. I think I'll start off with hearing all the gossip about it. I thought this Connor Stallions was an asshole. I thought he was wrong. We hate Michigan. I fucking hate Michigan. But watching this documentary, Connor Stallions is a genius.
I don't hate Michigan. I hate Michigan also, but not as much as I hate fucking
correct
state to the west.
I hear you. So, but we are not fans. Anything that is negative about them, we're happy about. This.
Correct.
There's nothing. I don't see that documentary. All that documentary proved to me is Ohio State should be investigated.
Yep.
For sure.
I agree.
I believe what that documentary shows is Ohio State potentially broke the law.
Yep.
The NCAA, once again, is a worthless piece of shit organization that does nothing other than make money.
Yep. I think they're probably very similar to the government, very corrupt.
Yes.
Very money greedy.
Money driven, yeah. Everybody that works for them is probably a millionaire, but they don't do anything.
Absolutely.
They don't accomplish shit.
Nope.
And they put out investigations like this. And it's eerie that we talked about the shoebox early on, our experience with an investigation, which was a bullshit investigation by the NCAA, bullshit penalties, while other schools were doing 10 times what happened at Wisconsin during our time frame. The NCAA picked us, went after us, and made a name of us based on that investigation. This documentary, and I know documentaries are sided with whoever creates a documentary, but this documentary showed me nothing wrong.
I agree.
And in past episodes, Joe, you brought up fans and how they look at football, especially fans that aren't a part of it. And to fans out there, I'm sorry to say this because a lot of people like saying the words pure with football and, this natural game that is equal and blah, blah. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Absolutely.
Every school is trying illegal shit all the way up to, we talked early on in the podcast with the NFL with drug testing.
Yep.
We talked about how we did ephedrine in college because we bought it at a gas station. It was legal at a gas station. Corey Stringer died in Minnesota. I go, the NFL is going to ban it. Next week, everyone's popping ephedrine. I go, isn't it illegal? They're like, not till next year. We have to agree on this. So everyone's always a step ahead of whatever the rules are. Like, think about Lance Armstrong with blood doping and this and that. Like, when the organization figure out what they want to make illegal, the players and everybody else is 10 steps ahead. Especially nowadays, everything advances so fast. And this NCAA deal, they tried to pin a lot of shit on Michigan. And when I heard about it prior to the documentary, I was hoping every single thing was going to stick. I watched it, nothing stuck.
Nothing stuck. And I was pleasantly surprised at the apparent scapegoat because they actually interviewed him.
Yeah.
Seems like just a diehard fan that loves the game of football, that loves Michigan football, has been a Michigan football fan. His whole family was since he was a kid. And what is he trying to do? He found a way to help Michigan, which going through everything, I didn't see anything illegal in there.
He did.
So he was just smarter than everybody else.
They flat out said it's legal to steal signs during the game.
Yes.
It is legal to steal signs while watching TV versions of games. It is legal to steal signs when teams exchange film. And another thing fans might not know, we don't exchange TV film. We exchange sideline and end zone film. That is something fans don't see, only the team see. They exchange that. It's legal to steal signs from that. Now they're getting into, did he send people to away games to video from the stands? First off, if somebody's videotaping from the stands, if there's 80,000 people in Camp Randall and you see the camp behind us, if there's 80,000 people there, 78,000 people probably have their phone out at one time or another during the game.
Yes.
You're telling me here's where the NCAA is a bunch of shitheads. What's illegal? The filming? Is it the sending it to the guy?
Don't know.
What if he didn't even look at there's just so much bullshit about it. So that I think is a bullshit thing, let alone this is one of the smartest, just watch this documentary, hearing about him, one of the smartest individuals in college football.
Yes.
You're telling me he needs, after we saw everything he put on his computer, how he took 2,000 to 3,000 pictures of himself imitating the signs that he's witnessed. He needs tape from somebody sitting X amount of rows up in the stands when he has this freaking thousands upon thousand page Bible on his computer, essentially.
Which he created.
Yes.
Which he created himself.
He doesn't need the video from Joe Blow that he got a ticket. And another thing fans don't understand that the documentary screwed up. They're saying, they're sitting in these seats that are $250 to $500 a seat ticket on StubHub or on whatever, SeatGeek and these different websites. If he's on the staff and he knows people on other staffs, he's not buying tickets on StubHub.
Right.
He's most likely getting them for free at most at face value. And then, like he said, he's giving them to friends or selling them at face value to friends. Right. You never saw on his Venmo him selling a ticket to a friend for $1,000.
Right.
He did say he made money on secondhand sales, but that wasn't going to friends. That was selling it through a website or something else. So once again, just nothing illegal did I see.
I think we have to almost back up a little bit. And again, you should watch this documentary because it was fascinating. It's an hour and 27 minutes. It's not like a 10 episode series. Yeah. It's an hour and 27 minutes and really eye opening. It gives you a little bit behind the curtain of college football. Yeah. This guy started out as just being a fan and was able to he joined the military because all of the people that he watched, the Bear Bryants and Bo Schembechler, they all served in the military. So he was, in order for me to be a good coach and to join, he joins the military, he joins the Navy.
Which is beyond genius and just the foresight that he had to do something like that is unbelievable.
I would join the military because I'm a huge fan of the Badgers. Are you kidding me? No, not doing that. And then he approaches the Navy football team and says, hey, I want to help the team win. Walks in there, like, what do I do? And they said, well, we don't have anybody that's monitoring signs on the other team. So that's a position that Navy has, okay? So not just Navy, every team has this.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, yeah, well, here you go. You can just see if you can, like, learn some signs during the game. And what does he do? He figures out the signs to the I forget who they were playing.
Well, the first game Navy played was Ohio State.
Ohio State.
The team that he hates because he loves Michigan.
And what does he do? He learns their signals before the first quarter.
Yeah, during the game. He cracks the code during the game.
Absolutely.
And starts the defensive coordinator who has no idea who Connor Stalions is. He's not even on the paid staff. Is yelling out what the play is about to be.
Just a volunteer.
Yep. They ended up losing the game, but you could tell just the couple clips they showed, you could tell Navy did better than they should have done against Ohio State. But once again, everything is legal.
Yep.
If you want to redo this documentary starting next year and you want to enforce stealing signals is illegal. We saw at the end of the documentary, college football is allowing the earpiece in the quarterback's helmet, just like the NFL has. So it shouldn't be an issue. But even with that being said, here's another thing fans don't get. You see a documentary and they think, all of a sudden in college football, somebody's trying to do something illegal. They do, they do illegal stuff all the time. Yep. We've witnessed speakers on the sidelines of games. The year before we got to Wisconsin, the Wisconsin locker room, they were playing Penn State at Penn State. Penn State shut off all the power only to the visiting locker room. Yep. The rest of the stadium had all the electricity, had all the lights, everything, except for our locker room. We had to do halftime with flashlights that they got out of the first aid kits. Yep. Illegal stuff happens all the time. We used to wear colored gloves to match the jerseys we were playing against. Not that O-linemen hold, but just in case something looked like a hold, the colors would match.
Right.
Everyone's trying to get an advantage. And if there's not a rule against it, or there's not a flag, or somebody doesn't call it illegal, it is legal.
And to the team to the west that was pumping in crowd noise in speakers behind our freaking benches to disrupt our offense and our defensive calls, etc., so we couldn't communicate. You can't tell me that's not freaking cheating.
Exactly. I had a time where I was in the NFL playing for Green Bay against a team from the West. They had speakers behind our bench. Our online coach got the scissors from a trainer, cut the wire. By the time we came back out at halftime, there was a new wire hooked up to the speaker.
Interesting.
I mean, there's always illegal stuff happening. It's just who does it better, who does it more efficiently,
and who doesn't get caught.
Who doesn't get caught.
Right.
Now, back to this documentary, we both stated, I don't give a shit if he's doing something illegal. I don't give a shit if he's doing something legal. I don't care if he's stealing, getting an advantage. At the end of the day, coaches have to coach, players have to play.
Correct.
The players on the field are going to win or lose that game. The coaches, based on their calls, are going to win or lose that game. Yes, there's advantages that you try and get. There's advantages by, did you go pads all week this week? Did you hit hard? Did you back off? Did you give the guys more rest? Did you do more study time? There's all types of different ways to gain an advantage or lose an advantage, but it comes down to the players on the field, the coaches on the sidelines. A guy stealing signs isn't going to make or break you. You still have to win the game on the field, between the sidelines, between the end zones. That's where the game gets won and lost.
Agreed.
To your point, though, you mentioned Bear Bryant and the paying players. I mean, stuff like all this stuff that is illegal has been going on for years.
For decades.
And why did Nick Saban retire the year NIL becomes legal? Because now every team gets to pay players.
Yep.
Not just Alabama and a couple other select teams that could afford it and that were illegally doing it. Now it's legal. And he's like, I want to save my legacy, my reputation. I'm getting out while the getting's good.
Right.
I mean, it just is what it is.
And that was from a reliable source, by the way.
So a very reliable source.
That Bear Bryant was paying players in the 60s or whatever he coached. It was a long time ago, but he was paying players back then. And that's from a very reliable source.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you that source, but it's very reliable.
Another thing that came out. So another thing, legal and illegal. The only thing that was mentioned in this documentary that is 100% illegal, that never happened at Michigan, is the correlation with Spygate with the New England Patriots. What the New England Patriots did that was illegal was they videotaped the Jets practice.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that.
Right.
Michigan did not do that.
Nope.
So once again, nothing illegal. And I can't tell you how much I wanted this to be bad against Michigan, but there was nothing bad about it. I'm actually impressed with what they did and impressed by how they did it. I'm disappointed in Ohio State because a lot of evidence proves Ohio State did something that was not in the football world, but in the real world, illegal.
Right.
And
you can't hack somebody's email. Dude.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You cannot hack somebody's email.
So the evidence that the documentary proved on there, Ryan Day's brother is a private investigator.
Yep.
Ryan Day's college classmate works for the Washington Post. Ironically, a private investigator opened up an LLC in, was it Michigan, the month before the story broke.
Yep.
And the story broke and went to the Wall Street Journal, where Ryan Day's classmate works at the Wall Street Journal. And he's like, everything Michigan did was wrong and Ohio State did nothing wrong. Well, you just seem like you're blatantly admitting that you're in on it without saying you're in on it. And then they're saying that back to the tickets, where they say Connor Stallions was selling these tickets and giving them. How could he afford to do this? At the beginning of the documentary, it said he cares so much about, and this is what blew my mind. This sets it up for his innocence. He cared so much about Michigan when the Navy was giving him housing, which was an hour away from base. He knew he was traveling every weekend to go to a Michigan game to work for them for free at the time. He was Airbnb-ing his house that the Navy gave him. Now, I don't know if there's legality with that on the Navy side of it, but nothing with the NCAA. He was Airbnb the house that the Navy gave him. He was sleeping at a rest stop in his car the whole time he was in the Navy in California, knowing that every Friday, boom, he's going to an airport, getting out of town, and not coming back till Sunday night, Monday morning.
Right.
So, I mean, this guy talking about them trying to spin it that it was about money or it was about this or that.
His dedication is second to none.
There's nothing illegal. Yes. Obviously, we learned about the underground people from different colleges trading stuff. I mean, you got to make rules if that stuff's illegal,
right?
And you got to go after it. But nothing in this documentary, nothing that I've heard was illegal. I even heard, through the grapevine, through ESPN, which is another shitty organization that went woke and went political and they stopped doing sports. They were trying to say, I was getting glimpses that they were insinuating that Connor Stallions was the one that did almost like internet fraud, trying to crack into Ohio State. Right. I heard into their practice video, this and that. None of that was talked about.
Nope.
So to my knowledge, none of that is true. If that is true, highly illegal. None of that's true. All we know is somebody hacked into Connor Stallions' account and then went to the NCAA, knocked on their door and goes, look at this information.
Yep.
Hey, Joe, what the heck does it mean when you say Cabin Coffee Altoona is a roastery? Are you making fun of the coffee or something?
Come on now, Bill. Sounds to me like you've had one too many shots to the head. It means we're a roastery. We buy our beans green from all over the world and roast right here on site. It's the freshest coffee you can get.
Is that why one place I used to go to tasted burnt and the other place tastes like brown flavored water?
That's exactly why, Bill. So stop on down to 2922 Meadowlark Lane. Cabin Coffee Altoona. Just remember, folks, Everything's better at the cabin.
Once again, the information they showed, none of it is illegal, other than how did somebody get it?
Right.
Nothing Connor Stallions did in that documentary shows anything was legal.
And the funniest part is when Connor's legal team questioned the NCAA. Well, how did you get this information? And all of a sudden,
stuttering starts.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, we're done with our questions, and they leave the frickin' No, it's like I said. They have no respect for the NCAA at all. It's just a corrupt organization that makes millions and millions of dollars off of.
Doesn't give any back to the athletes. Doesn't give any back to the community. Doesn't do anything to benefit anybody other than their own pockets.
Absolutely.
And I've said this from the start with the playoff system. I go, having a 14 playoff was the dumbest thing college football ever did. Yep. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. How does Division I AA have a playoff system? Division II have a playoff system. Division III have a playoff system. That's in football. Mm-hmm. Hockey, every single division has a playoff system. Wrestling, playoff system. Mm-hmm. Every other sport, playoff system. But Division I, Bowl Championship Series, whatever they call it, or FCS, whatever, couldn't do more than a 4-game. Somebody was going to be losing money. And every excuse I heard from coaches or media people, I'm just like, how? How would this not work at Division I? It works at 1AA. They're like, oh, the kids are going to miss too much school. What about 1AA, 2, and 3? They don't miss school with that? I go, there's bowl games all throughout the month. Why not have every bowl game be a playoff game? We have .coms for everything. The bowl games are so oversaturated. Who the fuck watches the bowl game the end of November, beginning of December? Nobody. Like the Motor City Bowl, who tunes in to watch the Motor City Bowl when it's like the number 32 team versus the number 59 team in the country? Right. You don't even know the teams half the time playing it. But if that game was Alabama versus Iowa, you're going to watch it because it's week 1 of the playoffs. Yep. And there's money to be made there. The city's going to make more money. The colleges are going to make more money. To me, but there was somebody that I couldn't figure out, and I have to believe it's somebody in the NCAA that's going to lose money because it's a business. It's all based on money. Why it took so long to go from bowl games to a 4-game playoff to finally we're at a 12-game playoff, which I think is a million times better than a 4-game. Yep. But so why can't we just do a playoff series like every other division, every other sport? It doesn't make sense.
I guess if they're concerned about us missing class, why do you have Thursday night, Friday night games now in college, and then you also have Saturday all day?
Absolutely.
And that's your excuse?
What about basketball?
Yeah.
What about yep. Those guys aren't there for a semester.
Yep.
They have tutors on the plane. They're doing work on the plane. And now with virtual, don't even come at me with missing class. Right. That's another just dumb as a rock type of excuse.
It's just one of those excuses that they try to use to justify their existence, in all honesty, and why they don't want things to happen their way. And I think, like you said, going back to the shoebox scandal that we got slapped with in our era, they made that into a mountain, and it was a molehill at best. At best. And this is one of those things where, again, you talk about putting an asterisk now on Michigan. And again, we don't like Michigan, folks. Yes. I'm not justifying Michigan at all. We don't like them. But that did change my opinion and my perspective based on that document. Yeah. Now, again, is it by Netflix because it's only one-sided? Could it very well be? Yes, it could be. Do we really know all the answers? I don't know if we do. But based on that on that documentary, I tell you what.
Here's what I say about that documentary. Michigan gained more fans and got cockier. Yep. Ohio State looks like a villain. NCAA, once again, looks like assholes. And Connor Stallion, the guy that you tried to throw under the bus, is probably a millionaire today. And if he's not, he's about to be a millionaire very soon because you made him the most popular guy on planet Earth.
Correct.
And everybody loves him right now. Yeah. Look at Barstool. Portnoy said he can be an employee for life. If he's done coaching, he can work for Barstool for life. Right. Everybody wants him. Everybody wants a picture. Everybody wants a story, let alone his database. Yep. He could probably sell that for we know idiots that came from Wisconsin. I'm not going to mention names that were geniuses with computer that get NFL job after NFL job that suck at coaching. Yes. But they get the job because of their computer satire and how that computer program helps NFL teams. Mm-hmm. But the guy sucks at coaching. Connor Stallion could sell.
He kind of sucks as a person.
Yeah, exactly. Sucks as a human being. But Connor Stallion could sell that freaking computer database for millions upon millions of dollars because it took him forever to create. Like we go back to he took 2,000 to 3,000 pictures of himself to figure out how to start cracking that code. And back to the Bluetooth, like we're saying, people aren't going to hack the Bluetooth. Come on now.
Right.
Like I've heard of people hacking the earpieces of coaches during games to hear what they're saying on the sidelines. I mean, Bluetooth, like that can't be. I guarantee Joe Schmo on the internet could figure out how to hack a Bluetooth system inside a stadium that offers free Wi-Fi.
Absolutely.
Even if their Wi-Fi is private that the coaches use, there's people that hack Wi-Fi all the time. To me, I don't know how to do it, but to me that seems simple compared to stealing signs.
Agreed.
The time and effort that went into that sign stealing, because you're doing that with paper, with time, with you got to put the work in to get those signs.
Right.
To hack something, you just got to find somebody that knows how to hack it. They could probably hack it in less than 30 minutes. They'd be like, here's, just listen to this, put this headset on, you listen to everything the other team says.
Right.
I mean, that seems like it would be the easiest thing in the world to hack that.
Would not be difficult.
So
the other thing too about sending other people to scout the games, wasn't that the illegal thing that you could do?
They said it was illegal because he sent other people to games that Michigan wasn't playing at, and that's illegal, that they took video pictures.
In high school, when my health teacher, who I believe was like the 8th grade coach, would go and watch our upcoming game and scout them, is that illegal? Because it seems like common sense.
Yes.
It seems like common sense.
It's one of those things that happen all the time, every day at every organization. Why they're pulling these, they're trying to pull these things and make them out, like you said, they're trying to make mountains out of molehills. Like this happens every week with every school at every level.
You know, just thank God that when I go to other coffee shops, when I go out of town, or
take a picture of the menu,
or I walk around into my competitors and I see what they're selling and how they go about their business. Thank God there's not an entity like the NCAA assholes that are regulating me and following me as I go in there and say, oh wow, they offered that. That's interesting. Is there some way I can incorporate that into my coffee shop? Do they do it better than me? Oh, wait, that's just me trying to improve on myself. But thank God that I don't have the NCAA. Exactly. Is there an NCAA for coffee brewing? I hope not, because if I did, then I'm guilty.
You can take me away. Your phone out.
Yeah, like, oh, wow, that's a nice menu. Like, holy crap. Look at their prices compared to mine. Huh. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's unbelievable. I think every freaking business, organization, whatever it is trying to gain an advantage over your competitors. Yes. That's what you do.
Yes.
That's how you survive in the business world. Hope is not a solution. It's not an option. I can't just hope it gets better. Yep. It's my job to make things better, especially as an owner. And I applaud Connor Staley. I never met you, but if you ever want to come on 217 South Mills, man, we'll take you on here in a heartbeat.
We'll even buy lunch.
I'll buy you lunch. Yeah. And if you want to, you can wear your Michigan blue. I'll allow that for you.
Let it for that episode.
I'll let it slide for that.
Okay. But you know what? Like, here's another comparison. It's almost like card counting at a casino.
Right.
It's not illegal. Huh? And the people, it's frowned upon, but the people that are able to do it, they do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like it's not illegal. He could have been sitting on the couch in his living room doing the same thing he did.
Yep.
There's nothing illegal about it. Like, I can't believe for so long, just on the radio, on social media, that I bought into Michigan was doing all this illegal shit. And how about Harbaugh got suspended? And I don't like Jim Harbaugh because he's associated with Michigan. Right. He got suspended for 3 games at the end of the regular season of a national championship undefeated year.
Right.
Because they did nothing illegal.
Right.
Like, it's just,
and that's the power of the fucking
mind blowing. Yes.
It's the power of the NCAA.
Like, honestly, for the better of the sport, they need, like, they talk about, you hear in politics and news, like, oh, Amazon needs to be broken up and Google needs to be, the NCAA needs to be broken up. Just burn them to the ground and start a new governing organization with better guidelines, like a board of directors that is, you know, like maybe former coaches.
I think former coaches is the way to go.
Sort of like they did the playoff committee. Like Coach Alvarez was part of the playoff committee. And it's not like he's on there pounding the table being like, Wisconsin deserves to be in the top 4. No, they looked at it fairly. They treated it fairly. They knew the teams that play in shitty conferences, just because you go undefeated in the fucking Little Sisters of the Poor conference, you know, of whatever state, doesn't mean you deserve to be in the playoffs.
Agreed.
And that's what these coaches were saying. Like, I don't care if you're undefeated. You know, they started looking at strength of schedule. They started looking at the teams they beat, what was their strength of schedule, and doing a better formula to say, no, these are the teams. Now, granted, there's the argument it should be more than 4, and they have evolved to that. But yeah, the NCAA, if somebody out there knows something positive the NCAA did, send it to us, because you will gladly open our eyes, because I've never heard of a thing.
Or if you worked or have worked or know somebody, hey, reach out to us.
Create an anonymous email to us.
I would love to have you on here to find out what exactly you do besides shit on people's cereal bowl.
And make money. And make money. Make a shitload of money.
Off amateur football players, 18, 19, or Braylon Allen, 17-year-olds. That's what they do. And they line their pockets, and they sit there and receive all the accolades for being so great and go to all the big games. And what do? They just collect money and make millions of dollars off players like us. Our likeness, what we've done, and what we put our body through.
Absolutely. Like, think about it. Like, we joke, and we've said in the past, and we had a poll out there the other day, like, should former players get reparations? And the whole, the legitimacy to it was when we were in college before NIL, name, image, and likeness came out, we were on the video games that everybody across the country, if not the world, were playing. And who was part of the licensing? The NCAA.
Correct.
I mean, the NCAA got paid for those games. We didn't get paid. I almost guarantee the universities didn't get paid, even though there was W on the helmet, or whatever logo on every team's helmet, or sidelines, or stadium,
even how they knew it was us because of the tattoos on your arms.
Absolutely, the tattoos, the facial hair, the skin cut. Like, number 33 was the biggest running back in the game that played for Wisconsin. That was a black guy. Who could that be? I don't know.
I have no idea. But again, all made money off of our likeness in what we did. And I said that, as far as I'm concerned, there's no need for them. They do nothing but just collect money.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like a government.
They literally do nothing else.
I know.
Literally, it's the government for sports.
No, wait. They make rules to make football less football. How's that?
True. Very true. Or they did stupid rules before they went woke and said, you're a college football player that can't make money. Your scholarship's next to nothing, so you could barely afford to live. If you get a job during the season, we're gonna revoke your scholarship.
Correct.
Those are the type of rules that they created for us.
Really important.
So if you're poor, we're going to keep you poor and make you less poor, or more poor, by not letting you make money.
Yeah, great job, NCAA. You guys are phenomenal.
Hopefully you guys learned something from this episode. Like Joe said, you definitely need to go out and watch The Untold Story, Sign Stealing. The Untold Story, Sign Stealing on Netflix. It's about the Michigan sign stealing with Connor Stallions. Great documentary. We learned a lot from it. I think if you listen to any news or social media, your mind's going to be twisted when you watch this documentary, because it's not what ESPN said it was. It's not what social media was making us out to believe prior to the documentary coming out. And if you think they did something illegal, put it out there. We'll have a poll question on what your thoughts are, but I did not see anything even remotely coming close to the line of illegal, or even in the gray area of this is questionable.
I also love the fact how the media came across this and then started snowballing their own narrative about Michigan football and making up shit that this is what they were doing. And they had no freaking clue what this one guy was doing at all. And he was just smarter than everybody else. But again, you run this guy's name through the mud, his family's name through the mud. You run Michigan football, who we don't like. I'll say it again. But then you just, I get attention when I say stupid shit. I get more freaking reads and more follows, and my job is secure now because I can just make up random shit in the media and spew it out of my suck hole.
We're in the area of clickbait. You know what I mean? Like, we're dropping videos to show you what we're talking about on the show. It gets people interested. These people, they're like, well, let's just make up a story,
just fabricate shit,
just to get somebody to click on our link and look at our name and read our article.
Stupidest thing ever.
It's a bunch. Like, once again, that should almost be something that's illegal. Saying something that's blatantly false about an individual
or an organization. So, well, we hope we didn't give you a spoiler on it, but you should definitely watch it because I think you'll learn something. It gives you a little sneak peek into college football, a little bit behind the scenes of what goes on. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time.
Want to thank really quick Pizza Del Rey, one of our sponsors, 911 North Hastings Way in Eau Claire. Pizza buffet, frozen pizzas. We always appreciate Pizza Del Rey.
Yep, and then Cabin Coffee. It's mine and my wife's coffee shop. Bill claims they have 1% ownership, which
we're still working on the paperwork.
There's no paperwork.
Needs to be worked on.
There's no paperwork. There's zero paperwork. There's no paper. So anyway, stop on by. 2922 Meadowlark Lane in Altoona, Wisconsin. Again, folks, if you want to try my coffee that we've been talking about here now for how many episodes, shoot me an email. Bill, what's the email?
Altoona@cabincoffee.net.
Absolutely. You can go on our website, look at your bean order, shoot me an email with your contact information. I'll give you a call. I'll get it sent out to you as soon as I possibly can, usually that day or the following day, and you can enjoy our fresh cabin coffee that we've been talking about here now for this long.
So. And people that have done it have loved it. Some people are already on continuous auto reorders.
Yep, absolutely. So keep doing that. And if you want to try some exceptional coffee, I promise you, it's usually roasted by me, and you won't find better coffee.
Absolutely. Sounds good. We'll see you next time, folks.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to Joe and I today. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. If you like what you heard, please give 217 South Mills a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Go tell your friends about us. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
I'd like to thank Cabin Coffee Altoona for sponsoring us. Everything is always better at the cabin. See you next time. And remember, folks, Red has to run.